Have 24-year-old Karoline Leavitt, a staunch Republican. She is running for Congress in New Hampshire's 1st District. She turns 25 in August, giving her a shot to serve in Congress by next January. And she's running for the seat in September's primary. Now, both candidates are joining us tonight. I do want to begin with Karoline Leavitt joining me now. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Karoline, we want to start with something that is top of mind for all of us right now. As a young adult, what is your plan to stop the epidemic of mass shootings in our country?
Well, certainly I would like to begin by expressing my thoughts and prayers for all of the families that were just struck with the recent tragedy in Illinois. This is definitely becoming far too common in our nation. However, I believe that America, as many Americans do, does not have a gun problem. We have a culture problem. The one commonality in all of these shootings is that it occurs from mentally deranged, isolated young men who show many, many disturbing and troubling signs, oftentimes on social media, as your previous guest pointed out, that they are seeking to cause harm and destruction. So what we're missing in America today, in my opinion, is a lack of faith, a lack of God, a lack of family, and a lack of community amongst our youth. We need to ensure that our young people are growing up in a country that they believe in, that they have faith in our public education system, that they are involved in extracurricular activities. Oftentimes when you see, that is the one commonality in all of these tragedies that is occurring.
Well, and Karoline, I'm sorry, I just have to ask, we have heard that for 20 years now. So how would you respond to people who are frustrated, people who say perhaps the only thing more predictable than mass shootings in our country is the GOP response that this is a mental health issue and not a gun problem?
Well, it absolutely is a mental health issue because that's what the facts relay. If you look at every single city in this country that has the most restrictive, quote, gun control measures on the books, they have the highest crime rate. Here in New Hampshire, where I'm from, where I'm running for Congress, we have the highest capacity of gun ownership of any state in the country and some of the lowest crime. And so more laws at both the federal level and the state and local level that only infringe on the rights of law-abiding citizens is not the answer. We have to control our culture, not the access to firearms, especially for law-abiding Americans. I would like to see, in fact, more firearms in the hands of people that can stop these bad guys from perpetrating these shootings. And then we do have to look into social media and what role these big companies play in allowing this violent and very disturbing rhetoric to be shared on their platforms oftentimes before these tragedies occur.
Yeah, we understand, and I think many are looking to you and also to the gentleman we'll be speaking with in a moment for a fresh perspective, hoping that Gen Z will come in and make changes. It does sound an awful lot like the same thing we've been hearing from the GOP for 20 years now. What makes you any different?
Well, actually, that's not true at all. In fact, I am one of the few young conservative voices running for office across this country. And something that I speak about all the time is the indoctrination of my generation, which is having a direct impact in some of these mass shootings we've seen over the last 20 years. The liberal left has actually seized every institution in this country, from the mainstream corporate media to Hollywood, to our entire culture, to our public education system, our higher education system as well, which is pushing a very deranged and incredibly disturbing ideology on the minds of our youth, whether it's this transgender push that we see, whether it's really a lack of respect for our country, for traditional values that have made our country great. We have had a culture of firearms in this country since it started more than 200 years ago. Over the last 20 years, what have we seen? This rise in mass shootings. I believe that's a direct result of the liberal indoctrination that we've seen across every institution. It's my goal as a young conservative to fight against that and to really reinstill those traditional values that allow people to become successful, prosperous, and safe American citizens.
Oh, Karoline, you hit your points. I do appreciate you being on tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I do